president laying low has been lauded by all sides. Last night, he chose to blow it as the FBI is handing in the report as early as today. I wonder about the wisdom. As much as the crowd loved it, I wonder about the wisdom tactically of him doing that.
And when you've lost Fox News, you're bleeped. Even Fox News, they're taking issue with the president's extended attack last night on Dr. Christine Blasey Ford. Joining us at the table, oh, you get a veteran in your title now, just like Barnacle. Veteran columnist and MSNBC. I didn't write it. I write most things. I didn't write it. I would have said dashing upstart, Mike Lupica.
There you go.
What do you think?
Well, the Trump tax story might be my favorite.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. What do you think about Fox News? You know.
Oh, you mean when they turn on you?
Yeah.
No, you screwed up then. No. When there's even the mildest hint of criticism on Fox News, then I don't know if
Especially this program. I mean, the Fox and Friends is like the ultimate safe space.
No, it's like the old Robert Frost program. You know, Fox and Friends is a place where when he goes there, they have to take him in, okay?
Right.
And so it's a big, soft place for him to land. But you're right, every adjective you've used about last night. I mean, I'm watching that last night, as much of it as I could take. And I was thinking, no, a year after Me Too, he's given a speech like #NotHim. Yeah. Like he thinks that he started a new movement for young men who have to worry about this. No, they're fine as long as they don't act like slobs.
Yeah, Peter Baker, this is a real thing. I talked to a close Trump ally this morning who said that this sort of He Too movement, or whatever you want to call it, is really bringing back the enthusiasm to the Trump base, that they were feeling like the House may be gone, the Senate too, that this may sort of swing the Senate back into GOP control if he can agitate and sort of excite and enthuse the male vote.
Well, look, what President Trump is trying to do is to frame this as part of his larger campaign against the establishment. He doesn't want to make it necessarily he said, she said. What he wants to make it is us against them. And the establishment, you know, in this case, the Democrats, are exploiting this situation for political gain. They're going after him because they'll go after you, and they will go after all of us unless we stand up to them. That's the message, in effect, he's conveying to his base. And, you know, it obviously has a certain receptivity among the audience, among the people who have rallied behind him on this drain the swamp message of his. You know, at least some people are seeing it through that lens, that this is about, you know, a corrupt political establishment trying to maintain power, not about a woman who is alleging a sexual assault against a man who might be on the Supreme Court.
Let me show you Kellyanne Conway's description of Professor Ford today as a Fabergé egg.
Excuse me, she's been treated like a Fabergé egg by all of us, beginning with me and the president. He's pointing out factual inconsistencies. Do you have corroboration for her claims? Have you found, excuse me, can you fill in her memory gaps, her factual inconsistencies? That is part of the evidence gathering process in any hunt for truth.
Peter Baker, it doesn't sound like an evidence-gathering process to me. It sounds like a smear campaign, and it sounds like a midterm strategy to rally white male rage.
Well, look, everybody on every side is talking about smears and witch hunts and McCarthyism and unfair process. But what you heard in what Kellyanne Conway said was that there was a strategy, and the strategy was to treat her like a Fabergé egg, to not do to Christine Blasey Ford what was done to Anita Hill, because there was a perception that that would cause a backlash at the very least in the Senate. Now, whether it causes a backlash among voters will be tested on November 6th. In effect, what the president and his allies are now gambling with the switch in approach he demonstrated on Tuesday night is that it's better to galvanize the base at the risk of losing moderate, particularly suburban women who otherwise, you know, might not have been with him anyway, and to gin up turnout of people who could be for him by giving them a motivation. That motivation is the Democrats are out to mess with us, and you need to stop them.
Frank, what's so corrupt about this conversation that the White House is trying to have is they want it both ways. Kellyanne Conway said a week ago, she wants to get credit in those comments, saying, beginning with me and the president, we treated her like a Fabergé egg. We wanted her to be heard. And sort of laying it on anyone that gave her credibility or that wanted an FBI investigation, that we were on the other side of valuing due process. I think everybody can look at this process and say that Brett Kavanaugh was most ill-served by the White House refusing to demand an FBI investigation on this very same day that Professor Ford did. I mean, it seems like the fork in the road, if this thing goes up in flames, is on the White House. And on the White House in coming second in asking for an FBI investigation, coming in behind Professor Ford, who said, here's my memory, here's my recollection, but don't take my word for it. The FBI should go investigate me. She wrote that, she said that to the Washington Post 2 weeks ago. So she was 2 weeks ahead of the Kavanaugh side in the White House in calling for someone, some neutral institution like the FBI to investigate her account.
Nicolle, FBI investigations exonerate people as much, if not more so, than they implicate people. That's what they do. They identify the facts and report the facts. So you want the FBI on your side if you're innocent, and they'll be your worst enemy if you're guilty. And I got to tell you, I think I just got a dose of that white male rage having just heard Kellyanne's comments for the first time. She's using the phrase factual inconsistencies with regard to Dr. Ford's statement. I didn't see any factual inconsistencies. I saw gaps that needed to be filled in by the FBI investigation that simply aren't going to get filled in. That's what I saw.
That rally last night was a low point in this administration. And anything associated with that rally last night should be wiped from our body politic. It reminded me of that old movie, The Accused, you know, and the people who cheered as the violence was going on. He was repeating and mocking a sexual assault, and grown adult people cheered and laughed behind him. I think that the president, I think that anyone who thinks about doing something that would support this president in regards to the Supreme Court should back off, should step away, should vote no. This is an embarrassment. There are other qualified conservatives out there. And to die on this hill for a man accused of this kind of behavior and a president who supports this kind of behavior is an embarrassment to anyone who dares call themselves a representative of the American people.
You're bursting, Lupica.
No, this base galvanizing, how much more galvanizing do they have to do with this base? If he had galvanized them more last night, they would have invaded Louisiana. and you know, we expect a certain level of behavior when he's in his element and he's talking to all the who's in Whoville, okay? But he did cross a line last night. Yeah. He did cross a line last night, and sometimes he says so many boneheaded things on this subject. I'm wondering if he's made some calculation that it might help him if Kavanaugh doesn't get confirmed.
Elise,
I certainly think it could help Donald Trump if Brett Kavanaugh doesn't get confirmed, because he's a victim.
Right.
Yeah. That's his #1 message, is about his own victimhood. And the elites did this to me. This is what they're trying to do to you. They're out to get you. So, yes, I do think that he might not be Brett Kavanaugh's best friend right now, because he's blowing up the strategy to actually get him on the court.
All right. Peter Baker, thank you for spending so much time with us. We're grateful. When we come back,